Good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane Pro and HD video blog for the 26th of May 2014. Happy Memorial Day to you. Taking a look at the tropics, the El Nino the El Nino that's trying to come on, still manifesting itself here in the tropical Pacific. You can see this nice solid area of above normal anomalies stretching across the equator. I don't think this is going to be as powerful as some of the forecasts earlier were indicating. I keep saying that, and here's one of the pieces of evidence to support that claim. The Southern Oscillation Index. This is a measure of the pressure differences way out in the tropical Pacific between Tahiti and Darwin, which is in Australia. Darwin is. Tahiti is way out in the middle of the tropical Pacific. And just to simplify this for you, when you see positive numbers, especially in the 30-day time frame, and even more so in the 90-day time frame, even though it's negative 1.8 right now, generally speaking, when you're looking for an El Nino to develop, you want these numbers to be at least -8 or lower, and none of them are. In fact, today's what they call the daily contribution is an 8.9. And then the 30-day average is 1.9. In 1997, I did a little bit of research. The May SOI index number was around -20 in 1997. That was the last time we had a really, really big, what they call super El Nino. And you can clearly see that the data does not lie. There's nothing wrong with the calculation process that the Bureau of Meteorology in Australia is using. The SOI is not supporting a significant El Nino event. So I think that we will see some of this area cool in the coming weeks, and the rest of the tropical Pacific just kind of holding its own around a ½ degree Celsius, just on the border of a weak El Nino. So we'll see. Interesting, though, that the Gulf of Mexico, half of it is running below normal, the western Atlantic running above normal. The deep tropics here, a few patches of cold water mixed in with some warmer water. Really still too early to be looking out there to use sea surface temperatures as any kind of a roadmap for what may happen down the road for hurricane season. But I think it's interesting to note that we don't have any large areas of colder than normal water like you see down here in the southern Pacific or out here to the north and west of Hawaii, for example. So we'll watch and see how things evolve. It is getting close to the Atlantic hurricane season. Do note, though, that right here off the coast of Mexico, very warm water compared to the long-term average, and that is where Hurricane Amanda has been located. Let's get rid of the telestration and zoom in a little bit. Pretty good upper-level outflow pattern. Is a 200 millibar anticyclone sitting over this region, generally speaking. That provides an umbrella for this to develop underneath of. Here is a very small core. That's the other reason Amanda was able to really take advantage of its environment. The central dense overcast here, the radius of maximum winds, the core, everything about it, very, very small in nature. And if we zoom in on it with a closer image here on the floater, there's the eye. But look at this, a very, very well protected small core of cloud cover, central dense overcast, dry air around it, certainly trying to erode into that core and collapse those thunderstorms. But this is why Amanda was able to really ramp up, because of its fairly small size, and it took advantage of these very warm sea surface temperatures in the eastern Pacific. So Amanda, a really good example of rapid intensification that was not forecast in the official forecast. Some of the regional hurricane models, the GFDL and the HWRF, were hinting that this could explosively intensify, but they do that a lot, so it's hard to know when they're going to be right. Luckily, Amanda was nowhere near land. It's not going to be anywhere near land. It'll move towards the north here over colder eastern Pacific water. This is the west coast of Mexico over here, and it won't be any issue to the Mexican coastline. Over the next couple of weeks, things could stay somewhat active in the eastern Pacific, maybe the western Caribbean. This is the Madden-Julian Oscillation. This is where we are right now. getting ready to get into phase 1 and then phase 2. And these two phases are when we see the most activity usually develop in the eastern Pacific and the Atlantic Basin. This is the GFS rendition, and here is the ECMWF forecast. A much stronger amplitude of the Madden-Julian oscillation coming out phase 1 into phase 2, and then it looks like it's going to try to do its thing, the MJO, going around the globe about once every 40 days, probably getting back into phases 8, 1, and 2 towards the end of June into the early part of July. So that'll be interesting to watch. Some of these pulses of this favorable upward motion can be tracked pretty regularly, and you can almost time the development within a few days of tropical cyclone activity in the eastern Pacific and in the Atlantic Basin. So we'll be watching this, the Euro and the GFS both suggesting that over the next couple of weeks the Western Hemisphere could be favored for tropical cyclone development. So we'll stay on top of that and keep you up to date. Remember, this is National Hurricane Preparedness Week all the next several days, so be sure to check out the National Hurricane Center's website at hurricanes.gov, hurricanes.gov for preparedness tips, videos. They even have versions of it in Espanol, so check that out when you get a chance. And I wanted to let you know that next Saturday, or this Saturday, whatever you call it, the next Saturday in our lives, May 31st, let's just call it that, I am going to be at the Houston Hurricane Workshop at the Houston Convention Center. So if you're listening and watching this video blog and you live in the Houston area, come on out. It is the Houston Hurricane Workshop. Google it. Check it out. I'll be there from 10 to 3 with one of my colleagues from Southeast Texas. His name is Carrie, and we will be showcasing some of the equipment that we use to study hurricanes at landfall. And it's a great opportunity to learn about preparedness, meet some of the people who make the forecasts, and the local emergency response people that are going to be there to help put the community back together should something happen. All disasters, when it's all said and done, are local. So take advantage of that and come out and enjoy the Houston Hurricane Workshop. All right, well, that is it from me for today. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com and, of course, Hurricane Pro in HD. I'll talk to you again on the second day of hurricane season, Monday, June the 2nd.